how to set up text-to-speech in Linux the easy way, this time on Hak5.
Hello and welcome to Hak5. My name is Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
It's your weekly dose of Technolust.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to, if you were expecting rainbows and kittens and sparkles, this is the wrong show.
But if you do want rainbows and kittens and maybe a unicorn that farts a rainbow and sparkles and possibly girly stuff, you can check out my vlog. It's at youtube.com/snubsyboo, because why not?
So it's not Snurbs anymore, it's Snubsy Boo?
Snubs.
the Derby Snurbs.
It's always been snubs.
Yes.
Snubsy Burr.
I like Sturpy Snurbs, which is something that you get to know around the office here.
Only when there's beer
But anyway,
involved.
yes, I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad to see you vlogging.
Thank you. He did the graphics.
I was about to say mighty fine intro of yours, but yes. I love that kind of stuff. It's just fun that we're doing so much more stuff. Like I just did a Lex code with Sab, and Mubix is coming down to do another batch of Metasploit minutes. But you didn't turn in for that. You wanted to find out about today's topic, which is text-to-speech, or TTS.
Yay!
You know, that robotic voice that comes out of your computer when you send it a bunch of text. And there are, we're focusing on Linux here, and there are two obvious choices. So first of all, we have Festival from the Center for Speech Technology Research at the University of Edinburgh, as well as its FestVox packages, which are voices that come from Carnegie Mellon. And then there's eSpeak from Jonathan Duddington.
Wow.
Yeah, so way to go, Jonathan, dude. You're like all the way up there with like universities making cool stuff.
And I'm assuming they're both open source.
They are. They're both open source command line tools that are Linux friendly. They're cross-platform, so if you did want to use them in Windows, you could. And they use very similar speech synthesis technology. I don't want to get into like all the various types because it's kind of out of the scope of this, but the two main kinds are like the ones that are like on-the-fly synthesis, and then the other kind is where you take little word fragments from actual recorded human voice, and then you kind of slice them out and put them together.
Ew.
Well, they sound a lot more normal. The ones that we're going to show you today sound like Joshua. Would you like to play a game? You know?
Yes,
Board
I
games
know.
references, they're always fun. That said, maybe you're going to like these. I'm not a huge fan of the voices per se.
Do you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite, and given enough time, I would probably get used to one of these.
Okay.
So that's why I will show you some examples before we get to my favorite next week.
Okay, well, show me some examples.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my sound up all the way here, and hopefully we can pick these up. We'll start with a simple echo of "Hello World. I like Snubsy Boo."
Everybody does.
And that'll be fun to see if it can figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and pipe this just using a little pipe here. So the output of this echo command here is going to go into the input of the next command. In this case, it's going to be Festival with tac-tac TTS for text-to-speech, and then tac-tac pipe to let it know, like, hey, we're sending you stuff. And it's going to sound like this.
Hello world, I like Snubsy Boo.
Well, it's not the greatest, but you could probably make it better if you felt like tweaking it.
Yeah.
One that I have tweaked a little bit to make it slightly better is, and I'll do the same example, but in this time, instead of piping it to Festival, we'll do eSpeak.
Okay.
And I use TAC-S to set the speech rate. We'll say 200 words per minute. And then TAC-V for the voice. And I did download another voice here called MD-US2, and this is about as good as it gets to sound if you ask me. And it failed to find that voice because I probably don't have to put it in quotes.
Hello world, I like Snubsy Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, that was creepy.
It was a little creepy. We'll figure out exactly why it's not liking my voice pack, but either of those are not my personal preference, but I do want to point it out there in case they happen to, be fun for you. I mean, a lot of people like these. So it's probably just me that's irritated. Anyway, if you do want that like awesome Joshua voice, you can have it.
Okay, so if you, for instance, would like to have these tools at your disposal anytime in Linux to read large sections of text, say from like Reddit articles or whatever you might, through your headphones while you're pretending to be working, like hackertyper.net, I believe you have a way to do that as well.
Yes, and that is exactly why I got started reading articles in text-to-speech.
Of course.
Because I was allowed to wear headphones as an IT guy, but not have /dot just like all over my screen. Okay. So in Nome, creating screenshots, shortcuts, is pretty simple. So I'll just go ahead and come down to keyboard shortcuts, and you can see we can actually add a bunch of custom keyboard
Cool.
shortcuts, which is kind of great. So I have a few here for like read text-to-speech through eSpeak. I have them for Festival. And
cool.
what's so great is that since they're Linux command line tools, I'll be able to actually take the output of, well, whatever program and then send them to their input. So just like we did with that previous example with Echo, let's go ahead and do this, except this time using X11 tools.
What is X11?
So if you're not familiar with X, if you're in Linux, you're probably already using it. It is what is underlying. It's called X Windows or X11, and it is what all of these nice window managers like Gnome or KDE are built on top of.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's been the
Cool.
standard for
That's
years.
how the GUI works.
Yeah,
All right,
it
gotcha.
used to look really ugly. It's gotten a lot better.
I believe
over
I
the days.
remember those ugly days.
Oh
back in
yeah,
the
well,
90s.
supposedly it's getting a whole lot better. So if you're watching this in the future, hello future people. How's Wayland? I hope it's everything that I hoped it could be. I can imagine, right?
All right. So how are we going to make all these like these command line tools work in XGUI?
Okay, so basically we're going to use this tool here. There's a bunch of tools that allow you to interface with X11, and the one in particular that we need right now is I want to be able to select a bunch of text in Linux and then go ahead and have that text that I'm selecting be the output that I'm sending to Festival or eSpeak. So for that, check this out. Let me open up, I don't know, anything. I'll open up GEdit and just kind of put that over there and say, Snurbs has Firefox hair. So if I select this text right here, now I'm not going to copy it, I'm not going to put it into my clipboard or anything, but I'm just going to select it and then run this command here, xcel. And you see what it did there?
Oh, yeah.
Now, it doesn't have a carriage return, but I get it right there in the command line.
Okay, it's like an echo.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it's just capturing whatever is selected in the terminal. And since you can't have multiple things selected, it'll always have, or not just the terminal, but anything.
Okay.
So if I pulled up like a really long article that I wanted to like just have read to me in the background while I'm doing something else, I can take the output of Excel and then pipe it in, just like we did before with the Echo.
Okay.
So let's do exactly that. So if I come down here and do Excel and then pipe that to eSpeak, TAC S200, because otherwise it speaks really slow. And then I select this, and now I press enter.
Snurbs has Firefox hair.
There we go.
Sounded terrible.
Well, whatever, it did the thing.
Yes, it did the thing.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that works. I think this is pretty cool, but I have a few questions about like how this works. But I think first we should take a break.
We will.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it all together. When you get that great idea, you're going to need yourself a great domain. And if you're like Shannon and I, you'll love using domain.com because there's nothing simpler. They have an intuitive domain discovery system and an easy checkout process that'll get your website up and online in no time. And they've been supporting Hak5 for years now, so you can show your support back by using their coupon code just for us. It's HAK5 or Hak5. Drop that in at checkout to save yourself an extra 15% off, or shoot them a tweet at domain.com and say, hey, thanks for supporting Hak5. When you think domain names, think domain.com.
Now, I'm gonna let you finish, Mr. Kitchen, but what if you wanna stop one of these TTS engines mid-sentence?
Hang on. Yeah, okay. All right. We're going to get into killing processes in Linux. It is so fun and easy, even Kanye can do it. So check this out. There are, since it's Linux, there's a million ways to do it, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you a bunch of wrong ways to do it leading up to the right way. Or we should say maybe different ways.
Okay.
For instance, I have this GEdit over here open, and I've got my little Snurbs has Firefox hair going on in there, and we want to kill that process. So first thing that we need to do is figure out the process ID. Every
the PID.
program, the PID.
Yeah.
Every program running in Linux has a process ID number associated to it. Some programs even use multiple process IDs. For instance, Chrome, every tab is a new process ID. So if one tab crashes, it doesn't crash the entire Chrome browser.
Gotcha.
Pretty cool stuff. And to find out those process IDs, all we have to do is run ps aux. Hang on, let me make this bigger. This looks kind of terrible when there we go. And I can come through here and I can actually see, okay, somewhere down here. Yep, found Chrome.
Somewhere is GEdit.
Bash.
Oh, there it is, down at the bottom.
Where? Oh, there it is, GEdit. We found it. And you can see it's, running as me, and we got our process ID and a bunch of other stuff, and when it was opened, and boom, there's GEdit.
So can you run me through what aux stands for?
Yeah, so if you just ran PS without the aux, actually this is what you'll get. So I'll clear this and just run PS, and you'll see I don't see a whole lot. I actually only see what's running in this particular terminal, which is, in this case, the PS command, and I'm in Bash. So if I wanted to see...
So does the A stand for all?
Actually, it does. It stands for all processes from all users, so not just DK in this instance. The U would be showing the owners.
Okay.
Yes, showing the users and owners of those processes, so we can tell who's running what. Of course, this is a single user machine, so you know. And then X will show, and this is the important one, all of the processes that are not attached to this terminal. So instead of just, in this case, Bash and PS, I would actually see things that are running like Chrome, which is running outside of this particular terminal, which is really nice. Because once we get this PID number, and I'll make this smaller again. Actually, I'll kind of rework how I have these laid out so that we can see this a little bit better. Because I want to see this disappear. There we go. So I have my GEdit open. And if I do now kill, and then the process ID number of GEdit. So we have our GEdit here. And we just take this number, this 8290. So I type 8290, and there it goes.
Boom.
It's gone.
Okay, well that was really fun and cool and everything, but that's manual labor. Why not do it systematically?
And that's the beauty of Linux, and that's what it's always about.
Yes.
Let's automate everything. I'm gonna open up another GEdit and pop it down here. And let's go ahead, and in this case, we're going to, instead of just running PS aux and getting this huge amount of output, we're going to run PS aux, and I'm going to pipe the output of this to the input of the next command. That next command is going to be grep, which will look through stuff, and I'm going to say, show me everything that begins with GEdit. And there you go.
Okay.
We've got two processes now running.
Yay.
We have the actual GEdit right here, and then we have another one which is, well, it's got the word GEdit in it, so it found that, but it's actually my grep, so it found itself.
Oh.
So
of course.
we want to tell it like, hey program, I understand that you're like turning 30 and things are really exciting and scary, and I know you want to find yourself, but now's not the time.
Okay, so how do you keep it from grabbing itself?
You tell it.
It's so awkward to say.
you put brackets in front of the first letter.
Okay.
And what that'll do is it will ignore itself.
Cool.
There is another way where I could actually take that and then I could pipe it again to grep with a Hak5 option and say like ignore anything that starts with grep.
Gotcha.
But that's just kind of convoluted. So I like the bracket option.
Okay, well this is, I'm gonna let you finish, but I mean this is really cool and all, but that still only gives you the output of the entire process, which has the user and when the process started and all that stuff. So don't we just want the process ID number? Is there a way to just get that?
We do, and here's like, this is the reason why we're doing these examples, because they build on each other with all of these fun other commands, and that's like the whole sweet thing about Linux. If I bring us back to just this output, yes, you're right, we've got too much here. We only want the second column.
Right.
So we can actually use another tool. We can pipe it again. You can see how like commands can get really long this way. We're going to pipe it to awk. Okay. And what awk allows us to do is print only one of the columns. Now we want the second column. So if I put a number 2 here in this print squiggly squiggly in awk, I get just that process ID number.
Awesome. Okay.
So
how can you kill it now?
Well, similar to how I can pass the output of one program into the input of another, we can kind of reduce a program down to its output as an argument for another, kind of like you did in algebra. So let me give you an example here. So we know that this will always give us the process ID of what we want, but what we want to actually do is kill that process ID. So what we would want to type is kill 8416, not all that stuff.
Yeah.
So how do we make this go into that? Well, if we put it in parentheses with a dollar in front of it, it is kind of like algebra in that this will get reduced down to what it equals, in this case that.
So it does the action that it equals, and then it kills whatever the action was that it equaled.
Right, so when we execute this, it kind of just works backwards. So what we end up with is the equivalent of kill 8416. So if I run that now, boom, GEdit disappeared.
That's awesome.
Yes, but there's actually an easier way to get the process ID instead of using PS and awk and grep and awk and all of that other weird stuff.
I think I know what you're talking about, but what is it?
I believe you've done this in another hack tip, actually.
I probably have.
It's PID of. So let's fire up another.
Yes, PID of.
Let's fire up GEdit again. Pop that guy down there. And so we want to know, it's going to have another different number now. It's not going to be 8416. We'll do PID of GEdit. And it's 8502. So as you might imagine, if we just follow the same logic from the previous one, we could do kill PID of GEdit. And there you go. Except
I do remember doing that. Process ID of GEdit.
yes. So now that I have shown you all of the terrible ways that you can do this, it's time to show you the actual easy way.
Okay. And that is?
And that is the kill all command,
Ooh.
which takes all the fun out of all of this, really, because you don't get to learn awk and grep and all that. But if we just do, and again, I'll fire up GEdit, poor GEdit, and we just do kill all, and again, this will kill every instance. So if I opened another GEdit, oh, poor guys, they're going to go together. GEdit, so kill all GEdit, boop, and they're all gone.
Cool.
Yes.
So it would actually be useful to know both of them, because if you just want to kill one process of Chrome, you have the options. If you want to kill all of Chrome, you could also do kill all.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where you would actually want to know, for instance, maybe you would want to know, okay, if this GEdit is opened with this text file, then I want to kill that one over the other. But in this case, we just do want to kill all of them.
All of them, yeah. So I did a hack tip. It was called Hack Tip Linux Terminal 101, Controlling Processes. And it was a whole series, and I mentioned kill, I think just regular kill in that. I never went into kill all.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because not every system in Linux is going to have the same programs. You may find Vi, but not Nano, or you may find,
that's a good point.
There's a lot of core utilities that you should hope to find on every system, like LS and MV and CP, and to move around files and copy them and list stuff.
Yeah.
But you won't necessarily have some esoteric program that you learn to love, and then you go to a new system, you're like, what do? Especially in the world of embedded stuff, which is where I learned a lot of my Linux is actually from learning with the Wi-Fi Pineapple, for instance, because it's a Linux box, but it's an embedded system. So it doesn't have gigabytes of images and distros and stuff. It's pretty pared down, which is fun because you end up learning the long way.
Oh.
So if you'd like to walk to school both ways uphill, you can do that. Pointing that out. All right, so let's make this work in Nome as a shortcut.
Ooh,
so
cool.
what I want to be able to do is essentially select some text, hit a key combo on my keyboard, and then have it do the thing instead of having to pull up a terminal every single time.
Okay.
In Nome, and this is going to be different for whatever your window manager of choice is, but I like Nome, so I'm just going to show you here under keyboard shortcuts, which is in your all settings or whatever. You go to keyboard and then shortcuts. I have a few here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you, for instance, the custom shortcut I have here for eSpeak. So if I open this, what you'll see is bash tac C, and then in quotes, that whole command that we did before. And the eSpeak, the XL, which selects our text, and then we pipe it to eSpeak with a tac S for the speed, and then tac V, and for some reason it works when I do that, so I'm not sure what's going on with that one.
There's no space between tac V and the backslash.
Actually, there seems to be a tiny one, so there you go, there's that. I don't know, but this works because if I pull up GEdit and say Snurbs has a cool YouTube channel and select it all, and now I've applied this to Super Z, the keyboard combo. So if I hold down the super key, which will look like a Windows logo, but we don't call it that in Linux.
Snurbs has a cool YouTube channel.
There you go. So it speaks. And if I wanted to make it, I don't know, we'll just make it repeat all of that, and I want to kill it mid-sentence, I have another one here that's Super X, and what it does is runs bash tac C, and that is, hey, saying bash, hey, run this command that's in quotes, and that's kill all eSpeak. So if I do this now,
Kill all eSpeak.
Oops. I actually have that selected. Let me select all this.
Snurps has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps has a cool YouTube.
There we go, and I can stop it. And it's the exact same thing with Festival. Again, it's that same command. So I can do Control Super Z.
Snurps has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps.
Oh my.
Okay.
Has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps has a
Come on,
cool
stop.
YouTube channel. Snurps
Come on,
has a
I
cool
said.
YouTube channel. Snurps
Oh, come on, really? Really? Okay, kill all Festival.
Snurps has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps
No process found, hang on.
has a cool YouTube channel. Snurps has a cool YouTube channel.
Your
Oh my
computer's
gosh.
trolling you.
Well, hang on. I have 2 here. So, oh gosh, come on. Really? Oh. Okay. You know what? It's even better when the demo does crazy stuff like that because
That was really
fun.
funny.
Oh man. Anyway, I just thought I would show you that because this is a way that you can goof off at work listening to all sorts of articles while you're pretending to just be bobbing your head to music with a tiny little /dot window in the bottom right, except it's not /dot, it's Reddit now because it's 2016.
And we're going to do a follow-up, correct?
We are actually, because I've
Okay.
only shown off the open source Linuxy ones, and I very much want to show you another text-to-speech engine that I prefer that runs in Linux.
In Linux.
Yes,
Okay.
those are very choice operative words there.
Oh boy.
All right.
And before we go, I also want to let everybody know, I'm going to let you finish, but first, I want to let everybody know there's an awesome opportunity to get into some InfoSec training. We're having Mubix of Metasploit Minute, Sebastian, who's our software developer for the Wi-Fi Pineapple, and Darren as well. They're hosting another pen test with Hak5 class. It's March 11th through 13th. Super, super fun. It's totally story-driven, and it's hands-on training with the devs, which is great. It's unlike any other class. So if you're keen on our class, you can learn more at pentestwithhak5.com. Seats are very limited, so register early, register often.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
they do
And I hope by
sell
the time
quick.
this comes out that there are still some available because it is. Yeah, we get people emailing us that have taken the class and it's so much fun. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And if you can't make it though to the class, that's okay because you know what? All of the hardware that we include with that pen test class, you can grab that over at our very own hackshop.com, and that's where you can find the Wi-Fi Pineapple Nano, which is newly released. Very exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm so
Yes.
excited about the Nano. It's really cute.
Thank you.
Also, if
Worked
you have
very
any
hard.
feedback on what you would like to see or projects that you would like to share with us,
Oh, yeah.
we're always looking for segment ideas, so feel free to drop us a line over at feedback@hak5.org. That's also the website where you're going to find all of our other shows. We do ThreatWire, which has been going great on Patreon. Really appreciate everybody who's been contributing to the show over there and keeping it alive. Metasploit Minute, Pineapple University, and a lot more. Darren,
Yes.
I'm loving your Pineapple Universities.
Oh,
by
thank
the way.
you.
They're really
Thank
interesting.
you. And you know, I also do a lot of like more informal videos on my own channel as well. But you'll find all of those links at the bottom of youtube.com/Hak5. That's where you can find the two of us, our own personal stuff as well. And yeah, the feedback email has been great lately. Like for instance, we may be revisiting the key fob SDR stuff based on one viewer feedback this week. That's been kind of exciting. So anyway, if you're digging all of this, I just want to let you know that sharing, liking, subscribing, all of that stuff, even leaving a review on iTunes
Oh yeah.
goes a long way to
If
help
any of
us
you
out.
guys actually use iTunes.
Hey, don't make fun of them.
Well, hey, I used to use iTunes.
Yeah.
Used to. But yeah, reviews really, really help. So does sharing the show with like friends or family. Just 1%. If you know one geek,
Getting the word out.
enjoy Hak5.
It's
Share.
exciting. And hey, you know what? Thank you, though, for everybody that has done that, for helping keep Hak5 going for over 10 years now. I'm so grateful. Yes. With that, I'm Darren Kitchen.
I'm Shannon Morse.
Trust your Technolust.
Snub shares a brand new YouTube channel. YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah. No, I killed the process here. Hang on. Kill all snubs. 3, 2, 1. Oh, my God. Oh, I am so sorry.